I'm gonna explain something that I think a lot of people that work with like MIDI don't do, and maybe they do it. Um, but like what I just did on accident, and it is fine. And sometimes I do it on accident, and it's fine. Still, like it's just an accident. It's like this right here is like the full like bar measure, right? It starts at a certain spot. But you know, when you work with samples instead of MIDI, you'll chop something up and then move it over. You don't really do that a lot with, or with what you do with samples. You don't really do that a lot with like MIDI. It's because of just how it looks. Everyone has to try to like make it so it lines up perfectly. But if I were to move the full one over here, right, it doesn't line up perfectly with the bars. You know what I'm saying? But the energy that it gives, based off of just how the notes are placed, is fine, right? Now, what I can do is because I pushed it back a little bit, the ending doesn't have any information. There's no notes there. I can keep it that way. I can add another instrument, right, that can help me. I say as a counter instrument, like just a melody, just right there. You know what I'm saying? And it might only be there at first for when you hear this melody come in, and then you'll hear it again later on in the song, maybe when there's more chorus or something like that. That's how I like to introduce stuff. Or I can add more notes, I can add another melody, or I can just keep it the way it is. Now, sometimes what I would do if I add a break like that is add a delay just to fill in some stuff right here, like that. Even though it's very tiny, but I think the sound is so, not gonna say dominant, but it's real powerful right now that it's kind of obvious. You feel me? Like I did up here with this Electra X2, I changed the delay up a bit. I think I was recording that part. Maybe I wasn't, but I had to decrease the level of feedback so it was appropriate enough for when I do have all the notes play. If I do decide to do that, which I thought I did, because some of these notes are muted, the delay wouldn't be drowning out. The delayed notes wouldn't be drowning out the other notes that are playing, and also it sounds good it when the pattern stops playing. You have a little bit of tail left over, so it just doesn't stop abruptly. And honestly, when it comes to just having some tail left over, I think a lot of people have a lot of tail left over for a lot of their songs, even reverb, and that can like muddy the mix. And I think I need to start tightening up what I like, some things I do in terms of like 808s. Like I don't usually use this 808, but it's kind of short, I believe. I probably will switch to different 808s. I'll probably experiment, but it's just like I like it to at least put the 808 pattern down because, yeah, and at least one that I'll be able to hear. Other than that, nothing crazy. Like I added this sound right before I started recording because it added another layer of energy, which usually I use for the kick, and it's just like the thing about it is like I like to take my kick in and out, and when I take the kick out after introducing it for that more energy, how much energy did I just lose? Right? Did I just lose so much energy that it sounds like the song's about to end? Does it sound like there's a verse, but then it's just like the verse is super empty opposed to like the chorus? So then it's just like, let me add another sound. And I'm still thinking about adding a sound here for maybe if I want to remove a sound, I'm thinking about a pad. I think a little action pad action would be appropriate. So that's kind of my thought process with this beat. I feel like I have a lot of transitions, but that's kind of just like the way I feel about transitions. Like actually feel when I hear them is like it's just running on. You know, you got to keep going. Oh, we're about to, and this is what transition is, but we're about to, like the way I use it, we're about to just keep flowing. No, there's not a lot of flowing stuff happening. Not that long of a beat, and it actually can be. Like what I find that people do is that they'll loop like a section together, right? They'll loop something like this together, right? Because it works out. Let's just pretend this one thing is a whole section, like a whole loop. It has 808 strings, hi-hat, snares, and everything, right? And what they'll do is do that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you do something like that, add a little bit more arrangement, and then just copy and paste the whole thing over, you can make your beat like longer. It's kind of like, and I've realized that it's like there are sometimes I make a beat and I'll just listen to it somewhere else, right? Or I'll go to a different window, look up some mixing information or something like that, and then I'll realize that the beat looped, right? And I didn't really realize it. And in some ways, that's not a good thing because if you have a repetitive beat and your beat looped, then your beat was looping the whole time in the first place. But if you have like arrangement in your beat and your beat loops, and you still have like meaningful arrangement, you can still kind of tell like where things obviously goes in and out, and like it kind of just lengthens obviously because you're copy and pasting the whole thing over. It's just like then I feel like you've made a good beat. Like you can listen to the beat for a long time, basically. Like whereas I have this idea where like it's a beat, it's an experience. It doesn't really have to loop. Like I will have like if this was more like a maybe like a more feeling in a beat, I'd have literally like a guitar solo come in or something like that right here. That's it. And I'd make the own pattern, and then you'd probably never hear it again. You know what I'm saying? It's just a passing by, right? Much how a song itself is just a passing by experience. Yeah, you can replay that experience. You can keep listening to the same song, but it's just like maybe I didn't want that guitar to come back in. You know, maybe I didn't want that to loop back, right? Maybe that guitar is just nested in this whole loop, I suppose, even though we're not coding. What the heck? But but yeah, just a little, just 2 cents, I suppose.